multiple people taken into custody by police at an anti-ICE protest down in Lower Manhattan.
Federal agents started a crackdown on illegal vendors in Chinatown.
And the raid by the federal agents and the vendors who are regularly on the streets of New York, leading to a rather tense situation.
Federal immigration agents from ICE staged inside a government garage in Lower Manhattan after launching another enforcement operation tied to Chinatown. And they didn't stop there. They gathered unmarked vans, plainclothes officers, and federal units inside the facility, preparing to move quietly through the neighborhood. But what they didn't anticipate was that an officer would go down in one of the craziest riots ICE has ever seen. Reports put it at 150 people or more, with some estimates higher. And the message was clear. They weren't there to chant and leave. They were there to stop the vans. And they did.
What began as a planned enforcement action by federal agents erupted into chaos on Canal Street Tuesday afternoon. A scene of shouting and pushing as crowds yelled at ICE agents.
You should be disgusted with yourself.
But the question is, why did New Yorkers risk their lives for something that was supposedly legal? What was really happening here? And is this the start of something bigger? So here's where this actually starts. As you guys probably know, this wasn't ICE's first move into Chinatown. Just weeks earlier, on October 21st, federal agents had already raided vendors along Canal Street, arresting 9 migrants during an operation ICE said was tied to counterfeit goods and document fraud.
Protesters made their way to 26 Federal Plaza, where those detained were taken.
The manner in which ICE is going into areas and just wreaking havoc, causing unsafe communities, this is clear. It's very obvious that this isn't making anyone safer.
So when ICE showed up again on November 29th, the neighborhood was already on edge.
How do you go to sleep at night?
According to federal officials, this operation wasn't designed as a sweep. It was framed internally as a precision deployment. Sources familiar with the planning said multiple federal agencies were involved, including ICE enforcement and removal operations and Homeland Security investigations, with support units staged nearby. Inside the garage, agents assembled multiple unmarked vans, plainclothes officers, and federal units, preparing to deploy into surrounding blocks. According to federal statements, this was not a mass sweep. It was supposed to be fast and contained, but the staging didn't stay secret. Chinatown has already been dealing with repeated enforcement pressure, and community networks are watching closely. Once people noticed unmarked federal vehicles staging for an extended period, word spread fast. Social media posts and live streams of the ICE raid went viral within moments. So what happens when the public gets a whiff of ICE operations? What do they really do?
And in a startling move, military-style trucks used by Homeland Security investigations drove through Lower Manhattan, escorted by armed federal agents.
Once word spread that ICE vehicles were inside the garage, the situation changed rapidly. Within a short time frame, roughly 150 protesters, according to police estimates, flooded Center and Howard Streets. Some outlets put the number closer to 200.
This is the ICE building behind me, and you can see that it's pretty calm right now, but just hours ago, that was not the case. That's when hundreds of people gathered here demanding the release of suspected illegal immigrants.
This is where the operation stalled. Protesters physically blocked the garage exits, dragging trash bags, metal barricades, and construction debris into the roadway. Human chains formed at the ramps. ICE vans were boxed in and unable to move.
The situation quickly got heated when bystanders joined in and started pushing back on the officers. There was shoving, there was cursing. I saw a woman banging on an official car, then thrown to the ground and taken into custody.
As NYPD Strategic Response Group units units moved in to clear the exits, chaos broke out.
DHS says at least one protester was arrested for allegedly assaulting a federal officer. And in a statement saying in part, rioters who were shouting obscenities became violent and obstructed law enforcement duties.
Objects were thrown. During the push to reopen the roadway, a metal trash can struck an officer, triggering a rapid police surge and crowd dispersal.
But earlier today, it was chaos, and it unraveled here outside of this parking garage in Chinatown with those anti-ICE demonstrators getting unruly with police, some of them throwing full garbage cans at cops and blocking police vehicles from going into different areas.
By the end of the confrontation, between 15 and 19 protesters were arrested, according to NYPD and court filings.
The NYPD telling us tonight that these demonstrators were asked multiple times to disperse, and they did not comply, resulting in them being taken into custody.
Charges included disorderly conduct and obstruction of governmental administration. No ICE agents were seriously injured, and notably, no large-scale immigration arrests were announced from that deployment. But if you guys recall, this isn't the first time this happened. Oh no, we've seen this across the country.
The National Guard is on the ground following days of immigration protests and escalating clashes with law enforcement. Take a live look here over downtown Los Angeles tonight, which continues to see protest activity.
In Los Angeles, federal immigration raids earlier in 2025 sparked days of protests that grew so massive and chaotic that thousands took to the streets, clashed with police, blocked freeways, hurled rocks and Molotovs, and even prompted President Trump to deploy the California National Guard and Marines.
Hundreds of National Guard troops joined LAPD and CHP officers in the city's downtown core. A protester was even seen hurling rocks, others seen reportedly setting driverless vehicles on fire. Tonight, we're learning at least 3 LA police officers were mildly hurt.
Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago, Dallas, and San Francisco all saw organized demonstrations outside ICE facilities or federal buildings.
A car wash in Alston was the target of a federal immigration raid. 9 workers were reportedly detained, and local leaders say it was one of the largest single roundups in the neighborhood.
As you guys know, there were hundreds and thousands demanding an end to enforcement actions and decrying what they called terror raids. And in Tucson, Arizona, a December raid outside a local taco shop turned chaotic when federal agents pepper-sprayed protesters and journalists as they attempted to disperse the crowd reacting to the operation.
And we start with breaking news on the west side. ICE agents are on the move right now on Tucson's west side, executing federal search warrants as agents move in. A crowd has gathered outside protesting the operation and demanding answers.
So the New York clash, it didn't happen in a vacuum. It's part of a pattern of escalating confrontation between ICE and communities nationwide.
We've seen immigration raids continue to ramp up across the country, and it's been no secret that the Trump administration has New York City, one of the most diverse cities in the nation, as a prime target.
And now the question is, when the entire country stands against a federal agency, how do you cover this one up? Once the arrests were made, the blame game started quickly. ICE moved first. In an official statement released that same day, ICE and the Department of Homeland Security said federal officers had been attacked by a violent mob while conducting a lawful enforcement operation. DHS spokespersons accused protesters of deliberately blocking federal vehicles and endangering officers, saying law enforcement had no choice but to call in NYPD to restore order. In fact, take a look at this.
DHS responded to all of this with a statement saying, "We are grateful for the NYPD officers that responded to these violent agitators and stopped the lawlessness that ensued. We will never apologize for enforcing the law and removing criminal illegal aliens, including murderers, pedophiles, gang members, and terrorists from our communities."
They made one thing very clear. ICE was not backing down. Then came Washington. President Donald Trump, already deep into his second term, seized on the footage almost instantly. In remarks to reporters and later on social media, Trump framed the incident as proof that sanctuary cities were spiraling out of control, accusing New York leaders of protecting lawlessness over federal officers.
You did a post last night where you said you want ICE to really target Democrats.
Yeah, I want them to focus on the cities, because the cities are where you really have what's called sanctuary cities, and that's where the people are. I look at New York, I look at how that city has been overrun by criminals.
He even warned that cities interfering with ICE should expect serious consequences, including federal retaliation. That escalated everything, because New York pushed back just as hard. Mayor Eric Adams's administration reiterated that New York City does not cooperate with civil immigration enforcement.
We're clear, we do not in any way collaborate with civil enforcement. We're going to always collaborate with criminal actions, like we did when we partnered to take down 27 gang members who were doing harmful things to undocumented people as well as documented people.
Adams avoided praising the protest, but his office made it clear the city would not change its sanctuary stance. Then, the incoming mayor stepped in. The transition team for Zohran Mamdani issued a much sharper response, calling the ICE operation provocative and destabilizing, accusing federal agents of staging enforcement actions in immigrant neighborhoods, knowing exactly how the community would react.
Last weekend, ICE attempted to raid Canal Street and detain our immigrant neighbors. As mayor, I'll protect the rights of every single New Yorker, and that includes the more than 3 million immigrants who call this city their home. But we can all stand up to ICE if you know your rights.
Murad Awaude, president of the New York Immigration Coalition, publicly defended the protesters, saying Chinatown residents were acting out of fear after repeated raids. He accused ICE of manufacturing chaos and then blaming the community for the fallout.
None of this is about public safety. It is about fear and chaos.
And that's when the incident stopped being about a garage in Chinatown. It became a national proxy war over immigration, sanctuary cities, and who actually controls the streets when federal authority shows up. Because both sides were digging in, and neither side was signaling restraint, which raises the next question. If this is how fast things escalated in New York, what happens the next time ICE tries to move? ICE continues to parade around the country and face riots everywhere they go. If you want to find the next breaking news on ICE protests across the country, subscribe to our channel now and tell us in the comments if you think fighting ICE like this is your American right or not. In the meantime, click on any card on your screen to watch another video.